Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of In-Depth Angling. Today I'm going to be showing you a modification I made to my LiveScope setup for a shuttle for the ice that I can take out and be portable with a sled made out of a milk crate, some scrap pieces of wood, and some plywood. And it's pretty simple, it's pretty cheap to make. If you got the tools to do it, it's a better alternative, I think, than to spending several $100s on an ice shuttle that you could buy pre-made. These ones can be custom made as well. They're kind of homemade and they could be tweaked. This is just a prototype that I've made and just going to show it here with you guys, so you guys had another option. It might be a little bit more economical for you this ice season.
So to start off with this build, I just have a standard milk crate here that's going to act as our framework and our shell for everything that's going into it. I've just got the regular LVS 32 LiveScope system here with the black box and my Dakota lithium battery to power it all. The dimensions on this crate was 12 by 12, which means I need to get a top and a bottom for the milk crate set up here. And I had an old piece of marine grade plywood laying around from when I did my trailer covers for my boat trailer, and ended up using that to finish off and make this project here. Just need a couple different pieces of it cut off of here to make the floor of it to keep the snow and slush out, as well as a top for the graph to sit on, and that ended up being the kind of the base of the build right there for it. Cut those couple pieces out and then ended up sliding it right down into the bottom of the milk crate here. I added some scrap wood cut to length to add on to the bottom of the plate right there for the floor of this crate, and that ended up being my framework to secure my black box to, and I can mount it there vertically so the wires would run up and be able to go out through one of the handles of the crate, as well as make a little holder there for the battery to set in that'll also be supported by the walls of the crate itself, as well as the two little wooden brackets I threw in there just to kind of keep it in place from sliding around and crushing wires and things like that as it's being moved across the lake, which this will slide right back into the crate, and I'll explain a little bit more how this all is going to work and set up in here once everything else is added in.
Okay, so at this point I've got the blocking set in here for the battery tray set up, and everything can kind of like sit right here with this. The rest of the milk crate will support this and just kind of give it a frame for it to sit in there. I got marine grade plywood sitting on the bottom of this, so it'll keep it off of the snow and slush that's out there on the lakes, and kind of keep that a little bit more dry, a little more protected. And this right here is just a couple pieces of scrap wood I had laying around in the garage. Put that up with a couple screws here to put the black box in. Can have all the ports kind of run off the top here. Probably going to go out this hole here and then put another piece of marine grade plywood up on top here, kind of sitting on top of the whole milk crate. And we can put our actual graph sitting up here with the cables and stuff running out of the backside of this handle, and 3 different places I can grab onto with this thing. And yeah, that's kind of the next sort of step, is making that lid and figuring out a place of where I want to actually tuck all these wires into. I've got plenty of room in here. I do need to put in like a battery switch. I think it's going to go right here in this corner or kind of somewhere over here depending on how the wires sit, and we'll see what happens with that. But switch to turn everything on from this to that, because there's not really an on-off switch for these things. Once it has juice connected, it just kind of always drains, so having an extra battery switch in there will help with that. But this is by no means like any kind of crazy thing. It's a cheap milk crate with some scrap pieces of wood and some plywood. So take this whole thing out, kind of in the state that I'm in right now. I could pull that out, take it inside to go charge it if need be, or take the whole unit inside and go charge it if need be. And then this whole thing can actually lift out of here, so when I'm done with it and want to put back on my boat or whatever, I can just pull this whole thing out and then unscrew what I got to out of the black box and the battery switches and stuff, and then everything will be good, back to normal. Main reason why I'm doing this project is, for one, cost efficiency, with it just being a milk crate for the base and some scrap wood and plywood. But secondly, couldn't really find any ice shuttles that were ready pre-made for this kind of battery that these Dakota lithiums that are taller, or any kind of other ones that are taller. Like this thing, I think, is almost 7 inches tall. And for that to fit inside of a lot of the other bags, they're like a little smaller. They're made for other, shorter style batteries that aren't as tall. So this will give me room to put this in here, as well as a switch to turn everything on and off, as well as plenty of extra storage, as it's just a standard milk crate. So this thing is going to be also a little more sturdy on the outside than what a soft bag will be, hopefully, and provide a little bit more rigid protection for the whole system, so nothing gets broken. Now I got to put the rest of this thing together here with the switch, which is right here, and all these wires and stuff have got to go in here, and then yeah, we'll be onto the lid and hopefully be ready to go here shortly. Alright guys, so I got the switch mounted on here, which runs now. It's not hooked up to the battery obviously, but I've got the different cords set up here for the black box, except for the actual transducer cable to the LiveScope itself. I'll plug that in after I get it in the box. But yeah, I'll probably tighten this up a little bit more once it's in the milk crate, and we'll see how this all runs together here. But I think we're about to the point right now where I'm going to figure out how I want these cords running in here and putting this lid on this thing, and then hooking up the graph, which is sitting right here. It's kind of an older model. It's a, I think it's a SV73 or 93 or something, but it's not very big. So I got the main part of the top on here where the graph is going to sit at, and I got all the wires kind of sitting down in here right now at the moment. Just got to end up putting on some hinges right here and actually have like a lid that pops up so I can reach in here, turn that switch on, kick everything on once everything's set up. Don't have the hinges right now, but I'll add those on later. This I'm going to get on right now and then start running some wires up here, connecting things and connecting stuff up to the battery and get it ready to roll. So okay, so we got this thing all mounted up here now. The graph is up here. I got the switch, the battery's all hooked up with the wires and everything, and I've got the transducer cable coming out with the back handle of this crate right here, along with the other cords going up to the graph, hooking up here to the back of it. This runs over here to this pole, which is made by Summit, and I got a case from them as well. Just something to keep it kind of protected, as well as be adjustable for the different thicknesses of ice. First off, I'll show you guys that this thing does work. I turn the switch on, and then everything runs good, like it should. It doesn't weigh like a ton. I mean, it's kind of a little bit heavy, but it's got the battery, black box, all the cords, that little switch in there, the plywood for the lid, plywood for the base, and the scrap wood that's on the back where that black box is mounted at in there. So it's going to weigh a little bit. I'd say probably close to around 15 pounds or something like that, which really isn't too bad. I'll probably keep this thing in the back of my little pull-on sled as I'm going out there and fishing. So everything here works. Obviously we're not in water, so it's not going to show you anything on here, but there's LiveScope. You know, I don't have the the regular transducer hooked up here. I'm just going to be using this thing for LiveScope and using the fishing chart with the waypoints and whatever else that I have on it. Fishing around on some different northern Minnesota lakes up here. Lots and lots and lots of different lakes to go out on, and plenty of area to go explore. We're going to have to go find the ones that are a little bit more shallow and frozen up to be safe out there tomorrow, but hopefully we're able to go out and find some fish and put this thing to test. The only thing I'm gonna do later at a different date is gonna be having some hinges right here to put like a lid that I can lift up in case we are getting like some snow or whatever, and I can kind of keep this like more contained so it's not getting like packed full of snow. So I might adjust this as we go. This is the first time I've ever done one of these or had to set up any kind of a fish finder for the ice, but this is something I haven't seen people try to do yet, so I thought I'd make a video on it and show you guys. This is not like me showing you this is the greatest way to ever do this, but this is a cost-effective way to do stuff, especially if you have scrap lumber kind of laying around, and you can just get a milk crate and make a shuttle as opposed to spending like $240 for one like some places want to sell you. This is a good alternative to that, and I think it's honestly pretty good and solid and protective, and it's got, you know, the handles and everything else you'd need to make it mobile in case you... All right, made it finally down over here to the lake. Having a nice snow shower this morning. It's beautiful out here.
and check the ice thickness and make sure we're good to go. Should have about 6 to 8 inches ice out here from what I would think, considering other area lakes. So I'll show you guys exactly how you turn this unit on and off. The switch is right here. I flip that over. It's off right now. All I gotta do is click that on. I've got a Dakota lithium battery right here hooked up to the switch. So the whole unit's got power right now. Turn the actual graph on here. You'll see that it just kicked on. And that's what you're wanting to look for right there when you're using this. As you can see, kind of moving around. I can see that there's a school of panfish down there, kind of scattered across the bottom, and I can then point this thing in the direction I want it to go find those fish and drill a hole right on top of them. So that's what we're going to do now and try to catch some of these. And as of right now, I've just got this thing set up here in the back of my sled so I can just pull it around from spot to spot, drop the transducer in and check the spot and see if there's fish down there or in the area, and then I can keep moving on. But if you were going to set up like an ice shelter or something, you can easily just put the milk crate down on the floor of that, or even raised up on a table or something in there, and it would work just as well. So I think it's going to be good for the ice shelter. Oh yeah, there we go. Crappie. There we go. Doesn't feel big. It might be better. No, just a little bluegill. Wrapped around my transducer there. Got a nice little crappie. He's not huge, but hopefully that footage comes in okay for you guys. All those dots down there are fish above that bottom line. Got lots of panfish down there. Lots and lots and lots of panfish. There we go. That's a bigger fish. Oh yeah. I don't know what I got, but I got something good. Get out of there. Stay pinned. Oh man. You just realized he's hooked. Saw that bigger mark come in from the side of the screen there. Oh, great setup here for my line. Wow. Oh, please God, let me land this fish. Wow, this fish is big. It's a big northern, or a good sized northern. It's not huge. Yeah. Come up the hole, bud. Come up the hole. Come up the hole. Yes. Yes. A little waxworm teardrop, man. Oh, whoa, look at that. It's got like a cut on its side right there. Wow. That's kind of crazy. I think I'm going to be taking him for the fry pan. They taste pretty good this time of year after they've been in that cold water. Oh man.
That's not bad.
Hopefully this video helped you out and give you some ideas of what you can do to get out on the ice this season, the LiveScope unit, and have some alternates to what's out there on the market currently. If you guys have any comments about this, good, bad, and ugly, I want to hear them down in the comment section. And hopefully you guys are able to go out and put some fish up on top of the ice this season. Tight lines out there. Remember to explore deeper. There's more out there, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.